It's always a delight for me to be amidst my students and teachers. Whatever I earned in my life has been my popularity as a teacher and my connect with the students. At this age also in the morning hours, it was 4 o'clock, I got the message from a student of mine from Kashmir, Gandhi. I was so happy having a student in 1970s in Verinder College. There has been something what is called divine that I love my students more than my children. Till this time also, I find whenever I find a student of mine, they definitely have a lot of regard for me and I have a lot of admiration for me. I will tell you very interesting. I had hardly 3 years career as a lecturer in Verinder College. One day I was moving that area, going to Jammu College, walking, and found a lot of students. And the principal and minister at that time was Koul of education. They were demanding that the Professor Koul, who was my teacher, had taught me in SP College, should be replaced by Professor Zutshi. My point is, unless the teacher connects with students, that's very important. Very important is that you have to connect with your students. Students, then you become an epitome, you become a signature, he will become an inspiration for the student. I have also in my life, in a student like in college or a school, I have some very good teachers. I wanted to give my tribute to them. I had Professor Hajani, he was teaching us science. One day I was in 9th class, he was walking on the Habagadar. Some madman spit on his dress. He was very well at a teacher. So he came late, he was never late. Teachers are never late. This is very important to understand. This is very signature of teachers. He was late to the class. Somebody asked him, why you are late, sir? Because some madman has spitted on my dress. It was month of May or June. He returned to his home. He was residing somewhere in Persia or Rungar Bandar. He had a bath and wore new clothes, fresh clothes, and came to the school. Another question was asked to him, why don't you reprimand? You should have slapped that madman. Because this madman, he must never slap. That's a good lesson I have learned from my life. With mad people, with fossilized minds, you can never interact. And I have not been doing like that. That's the first lesson I have learned from my teacher in school. When I went to college, I had brilliant teachers. Koul, Koul, Nazir Ahmad Khan, Professor Hajani, Professor Kashna Panita. Hajani was an Arabic professor, scholar on sciences. Koul was a professor English. He was a gold medalist for Banaras University when Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan was the vice chancellor. He requested him, you continue in this university. He had law for land as I have law for land. As Ayaz said, I come from Kashmir. It was emotional for me when he said I come from Kashmir. That beautiful woman whose beauty is impersonal and above human desire. Well, love is fantastic. As he said, it was certain, he sang sometime. Again we went there where love is, and praying to God and love is fantastic. So we come from land, I come from, most of the people come here from that land. And there also we have learned in terms of sensitivities, because Nadim was my teacher in school again. He was teaching English, Dinana Nadim, the great poet. And there I learned the sensitivities of poetry. And then the Professor Koul was such a brilliant professor, as Rawal Sahab said. Professors had been bold, teachers had been bold. He was not made principal. That time there were 6 or 7 colleges in the state. He was not made, despite his brilliant academic and a brilliant teacher. I don't know how you call. He's a brilliant teacher. He would come to the class. There are more than 200 students at SP College that time. Gulabi Sahab would bear me. That time there were 15,000 students enrolled in SP College. Such for the rest of students. Big students. As soon as he would enter, pin drop silence, graveyard silence. What a mystique, what a brilliance. He was a limping man, he was limping, that's why he called Lord Byron. But the articulation, the brilliance in his speech made him popular and a great teacher. Again I go to that great man. Then he told Sadiq was the chief minister at that time. He told Mr. Sadiq, you require king commercial principles of colleges, not a man who has earned distinction of a gold medalist from Banaras Hindu University. He felt, I could understand Sadiq. Next day, he was made the first Shadow Department English, Jammu University. Coming to Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, the greatest mind we have produced in India in terms of philosophy. He was coming from a very middle class family. He didn't come from an elitist family that way. A Brahmin from Madras. He worked for the lecturer, then a professor there in Madras College. Then he was such a brilliant man, he became the vice chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. And there were people that time who had eye for brilliance also. He was taken afterwards first ambassador to USSR. While being ambassador for USSR, the wall where he was sleeping and he was working, he was hard, there was a mark on that wall. I saw that he was all the time working there. The impact of the head the back head was on the wall. Because Vijay Lakshmi succeeded this gentleman as ambassador to USSR. She wrote that the wall has the bearing of his this head on the wall. Such a voracious reader, such a brilliant man, such a scholarship. And then what is called the articulation. He had a mastery on Sanskrit, he had a mastery in English. He was invited by John Kennedy in 1961. Very interesting anecdote I will tell you. Kennedy read that he is a great philosopher of the East, so he wanted to give a wonderful welcome in the lawns of White House. What happened? All the preparation was made because he thought a great man is coming, not as president only, but a great philosopher is coming to visit America. It rained that day. The winds, gushing winds everywhere in the Washington. So they had to change the venue inside the hall of the White House. Then our president, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, the president of America said, so we couldn't accord you the welcome which we wanted because of rain and gushing winds. Then this great philosopher replied, Mr. President, you have made great advances in science and technology, but you cannot change events, but only attitude towards it. This was the quotation of what is called Upanishads, because he could quote Upanishads, translated, you cannot change events, but only attitude. That one sentence became banner news next day in American papers. He was a man of that brilliance. We had, in India, we had Abdul Kalam. Dream, and then he lived with his upright life. I mean, upright love that his relations would come to Rashtriya Bhavan, to the presidential lodge. He would pay for them. He never accepted the courtesy despite President of America, India he was. And dream that he would inspire. So my teachers or would-be teachers, you have to always read the biographies, the autobiographies. That makes you the good motivational teachers. Because when you can connect with students by giving these anecdotes, like Shastri, he had no money, he crossed Ganga. There are instances when Nehru for 16 days he had no newspaper. After 16 days he reads a newspaper. His mother was lathi charged by British police. She was bleeding. He said, I will have burned my nation for the sake of my mother. The bonding between mother and son. I mean, these biographies, these autobiographies must be read by students as well as teachers. Because you have to be motivational speakers. You have to chisel, as Rawal Sahab said, or Raina Sahab, you have to chisel from clay, you have to make diamonds. That is the art of a teacher. मुझे याद है कि मैं कश्मीर यूनिवर्सिटी में था, कि स्टूडेंट था, उर्दू के प्रोफेसर थे, मैं नाम भूल गया उनका, उन्हें कहा ये एक आर्टिस्ट है टीचर, इसकी अदा, उसका कन्वर्सेशन, उसका चलना, उसका सोच, that is always a model for the students. I still remember there some teachers I would definitely make a role model. Whether there was attire, there was conversation, there was scholarship they had. That makes a good, There has to be a passion for teaching. I also didn't like when I joined profession. But there again became passion, because the passion is to be there when you become the teacher. That's very important. And coming to, I remember I was in JNU, I had a teacher who taught us history, Bimla Prasad. He was a nephew of Verinder Prasad, the first president. He said, when you study, particularly history, sociology, everything, you must purge your prejudices and biases. Then only you can contribute to society. Your analysis will be upright, honest, credibility will be in that. When you have prejudices and biases, you cannot be a great teacher. You will make a flock of those students who will be talking something not sense but nonsense. When I said the debate started yesterday about Sanatana Dharma and all. There have been people like Aurobindo, like Vivekananda when he went to America, as said, sisters and brothers. Or when Aurobindo said the nation in terms of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. There are no regions, there are no boundaries, there are no fanaticism. That is Sanatana Dharma. When I heard somebody actually talking about that, how illiterate and how immature was everything. But beyond that, we think there's our understanding. So teachers have to be comprehend these all things, what is happening around. They can't close their eyes and be analytical about it. So that makes you a great teacher. And Swami, this Radhakrishnan had a potential in that. We had some great, there was a Vajpayee, the way he would speak. There was no ill will. There was vision and wisdom in his speech. Sushma Swaraj, Vasant Sathe, you would love to see. Himanshu Kabir, brilliant speakers, but with substance and a universality in their speeches. I have heard this Sarvepalli when I was a young boy in school, and because I had a passion to listen to these people. So brilliant. I have not seen, nobody can replace Sarvepalli as an orator in India so far. Nobody can. Because he had such an understanding of our this Vedas, Upanishads, that he could translate immediately. That made him the philosopher of the age. Without no prejudice and no bias. Credibility, honesty and boldness. So we are celebrating his day as his birthday, basically as a teacher's day. And we have to appreciate the contribution, not only he, even his predecessor was Zakir Hussain. The Ashik ka janaza nikla zara doom se. What a words there are. I mean, Vajpayee, Bharat Mata ki god soi nahi hai, soni hai. And Nehru died, he said, we can have some people more like that. उनकी ऐसे जो कोट्स हैं, ये resonance, ये मेरे टीचरों के लिए जरूरी है, मेरे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए. Because you are basically, you are the person who catalyst in changing clay to diamonds. You are making something great people. My line of my teacher in school is indelible. My line of this Koul, when he told the chief minister, you want these King Kongs to be the principal, I am a man like this. Next, he had boldness. The connection of boldness makes you intellectual. So I must tell you, I must share that it has been very joyous, elated to see the program. Sukna, Ayaz and all that. It was all wonderful time I have spent, we all spent. I'm so grateful to the members of the Committee, General Secretary Mr. Rawal and the Lord Mr. Verinder Rawal, and the faculty who are doing wonderful job, the principal who has dynamism to understand it, the students who are the parents. I'm sure this institution will be a very important institution in terms of the coming days. Thank you very much.